Hi, guys. Welcome to this live. We're recording it live so that it becomes a good recording and a good place to go deeper. Okay, hello. Okay, what's going on? Yes. Okay, what's going on? Yes. Do we need a. Can you guys hear me? There we are. We had a little introduction here on Instagram on what's on how things work on the live. We are doing a little Wisdom Wednesday. We are in a new place. We are talking about the flow of awakening. We are kind of releasing this retreat and also kind of preparing for the next one. And to prepare for retreat, we kind of have to kind of understand what do we want from a retreat? What is the potential? What is the purpose of having retreats? So that's where we kind of easily can be like, well, can't I just read a book, or can't I just learn something? And reading a book or learning something, there are both like valuable lessons we can kind of experience life. Somebody can have gotten to a place and they have accepted their place in life, and thus when you accept something you feel happiness or contentment, and then you can share your place, and you can give people understanding of that, give people the understanding of being happy, being content with your life, which everybody can be in wherever you are. It's a little bit different than awakening, but you can also learn techniques from people that have kind of done certain awakening techniques, and through those techniques you've kind of created a little bit of a path. So then you get along on that path and you can experience some kind of happiness there, or you can experience more kind of bliss or focus or skill set or like purpose, different stuff. And then you can, if you study long enough, you can come to experience this and teach it to others. So that's kind of, in a way, what we were talking about today, the flow awakening. It's like there we have, the flow is more of the feminine path to awakening. And but if I talk about the feminine, then I, of course, there's also a masculine way of awakening. And then the feminine is more like the chaos. It's like everything. It's everything in life. While the masculine is more like a straight, ordered path. And we have like a high ceiling here, and all these light bulbs all the way up. You can't really reach them except with the ladder, or so we thought. So we have been waiting to fix this one light bulb with a ladder. So we need somebody to give us a ladder. Well, we also need a light bulb, a new one. So we need, like, we're kind of reliant on a ladder. So somebody needs to have made a ladder. So that's kind of what a teacher is. Sometimes somebody has found, or the masculine, they have made a ladder straight up. You get on the ladder straight up. And then that's why people a lot of times in the masculine need a teacher. Kind of, they need to to be shown the ladder, and then the ladder brings you up on his ladder or hers ladder, and then you kind of experience higher feelings of almost touching the light, or so there's levels of experiencing awakening on that ladder. Then gradually, if you study long enough with the teacher teaches you how to. Yeah, there's a little wind here. Can you guys still hear me? Should I close the window? But yeah, there's energy. So there's this ladder, and then gradually you learn how to close. Yes, close it. Okay, hold on. Still windy, but now it's outside. So it's still windy, but now it's outside. So on the path of awakening, you kind of get a ladder up. It's the kind of the fastest way. Just follow the ladder. It's easier, but yeah. Then you, when you walk it up, then you kind of need to learn to get all the way up yourself. You have to kind of, because you can't get there just on your teacher's ladder. You have to learn how to make a ladder yourself. And then, so that's why a lot of times these teachers are sometimes really old, because they have needed to take time to learn how to make the ladder as well, so that they can teach you how to make the ladder as well on your path to get all the way up. So that's kind of the role of the teacher in the masculine. They kind of had created a ladder, and then you get up all the way up there, and then you can connect. The light you might stretch, and you might connect with it prematurely, like we did. We actually, yeah, prematurely, because if you kind of like go not all the way up, you can stretch, and then you might be able to touch the light bulb, and then you realize you don't need a new light bulb. You actually, it was just a little crooked. So then you kind of get like a premature, and you might not really know how to get the ladder at all. So then you kind of become a little weird teacher, because you don't really know how to come up the ladder. So when your teacher disappears, you've had this experience, but you haven't kind of, it's not stable. So that's kind of a lot of teachers and most teachers in the West or other places too, you can also have the experience of this philosophy where wherever you are, there's, in this room, there's all these different levels on top of the fridge, on top of the fireplace, on top. So sometimes when you just move in the space, you might suddenly end up on the ladder, or on the edge, on the high level. And at that place, you suddenly have clarity, because the higher you sometimes are, the more energy you can feel. You get clarity, and you're like, oh my God, I understand everything now. And still yet you can write about it and be like, this is amazing. So you write books or you teach, but you don't necessarily and give like strategies, like this is how to live life. This is how, yet you still don't really know how you got there, because most of us are not aware of how we move around in our space. So we might unconsciously end up in places where we didn't know where we are. But then when we are there, we like feel so good. Then we're like, oh my God, people need to know how good I feel. So I'm going to write a book. I'm all love, or blah, blah, blah. So these are kind of more like the masculine in a way focused, or the feminine, the chaos, where it's just unconsciously suddenly get somewhere. You're like, oh my God, I had an awakening. You don't necessarily know why you had the awakening. You just had the awakening because you were at the right time, right place at the right time. So the feminine place, kind of what I'm teaching, is a little different. I'm not teaching you how to build a ladder. Because if you start noticing and accepting, allowing yourself to flow in the space, then you will kind of dance. Then you start dancing in the space. Then you start enjoying the space, and then you will start to kind of use the whole space, and you will start noticing these different levels. So we can easily think like, I can't get up to the light without the ladder. So we've been like waiting for the ladder, and yet suddenly the ladder man from with the ladder never came. So we thought, well, could we get there ourselves? But then we put a little chair and we didn't reach it. But then I went up and then I stepped on top of the fireplace. And it's a little jumbly, so you have to kind of dare, you have to be a little fearless as well. So, but then suddenly when I reached it, I wasn't stretching, and then we were like, oh, you can't reach it. But then I stretched a little bit more and I touched it. And then I was going to unscrew it, but in the moment I touched it, the light went on and it was connected. So I got to the light. I stretched without needing a ladder. So sometimes that light is just needs a touch. Sometimes you might have to unscrew the ladder, the light bulb. And we had another light bulb further down that we're gonna like put in there. So it will cost you something. Sometimes you might have to fix it, buy a new light bulb, or know how to make a light bulb, or use another. But a lot of times you have a light bulb in the house. So that's where the wisdom comes in. A lot of times we don't need the ladder, we don't need a light bulb, because everything is already in the space. You might just have to kind of look at what you have in the space, light bulbs, all the stuff, and then you find a way to realize that maybe the light isn't broken. You just have to kind of stretch for it. So this path is more the feminine. It's more the chaos, where you dare to dance, to flow, with not just walk around orderly thinking, analyzing from the mind, but dare to use the feminine, the body, to kind of get it. And then you will realize you don't have to be on top there always having that light on or touch it. You can be up, you can be down, you can be everywhere, and you can enjoy everything. You don't always have to be up there. You can get the light fixed and then you can be down. A lot of times if you have a ladder, you get stuck there. You might not want to go down because you spend so much energy making the ladder that when you're all the way up, you're kind of like a monk. You're just wanting to be up there. So then you're also just burning energy. So instead of just allowing yourself to come down, the light is on, you can flow, you can dance, you can put on music, you can enjoy. So that is the flow of awakening. That is the ease. That is the feminine, where you can actually enjoy. And most people don't have time to make a ladder because it takes a long time. So maybe you just want to kind of connect with it and start having faith that everybody can get there, or whatever you like to be, on your chair, or you're on your bed, or in the kitchen, or on the toilet, or in the bathroom, or wherever you are, or outside. You might start enjoying where you are, and then you might start just moving around sometimes, and then we kind of connect all the light bulbs eventually. But then I haven't spent so much time on the light bulb, on the ladder, that I have time to kind of move through more levels. So the awakening of the body is like we don't want to spend too much on one thing, because life is many things. It's like family, it's work, it's kids, it's party, it's sleeping, it's talking, it's enjoying, it's screaming, it's all parts. It's everything of life. It's not one thing. So to really connect all this in one lifetime, it's kind of more the ease or the flow of the feminine. So it kind of works in a completely opposite way of the masculine, but you might also find the ladder for that matter. There might be a ladder outside. So you can use that sometimes, but you can also just climb on the chair and on the fireplace, and you become more agile and fluid and flowy. So that is kind of a way of talking about the feminine, the flow of awakening, which then sometimes is not to become obsessed about just the focus or just focusing on enlightenment, but it's more of life. So it has a different, when you focus on life, then you can kind of actually awaken more to more aspect of yourself, and not just, then you can break free from the ego, because sometimes people suddenly get on top of the fireplace spontaneously, unconsciously, and then they might write books, but then it becomes philosophies. They don't really know how you got there because they unconsciously got there. So then that's people calling philosophy. They talk about something they don't necessarily know themselves. They just and then other people learn from their books, so they pass on knowledge or philosophies that they don't really know. So kind of a teacher is kind of the knower, or like that has passing on what they are actually experiencing themselves. So that's where like there's a discernment of what kind of teacher are you listening to, what are they talking about from having gone there, or have they unconsciously ended up there. That's very different. So that's where we kind of have to understand when people teach is, do they know how to get there? Do they really know what it means? Or are they just kind of philosophizing? So that is where humans now get so many people, that there's the freedom, that everybody gets so knowledgeable because of internet and stuff. So everybody kind of knows so much that everybody can kind of teach about something, pass on something, but it doesn't necessarily let you there. You can read about it, but you are still sitting on the couch and haven't really, will never really kind of reach the light. So that's what we're talking about. So I moved around today. That is part of life too. We're moving around. We're not, so if you have come with me for a while and you see me on Instagram or wherever, you will notice I don't stagnate, because it's not. It is integrated. It is, the light can be on wherever you are. So that is why we move around, because we're life. We're not locked. So it's another teaching of kind of having faith. So I found it because I had the clarity and maybe the maturity to kind of see, I saw the process that could be happen, and then I had to walk the process myself, test it out, and when you do it, it becomes a different way. It just becomes an awakening. Life gradually advances and awakens energy in a whole different way, that it can kind of keep going in a very different path than what actually has been described on earth thus far. So it is a different journey. So sometimes we have to kind of look at the differences to also kind of be able to see what we have done and where we have been. So this is kind of taking you on a journey, the journey of awakening. not just, oh my God, I know, and now I have to teach. It easy can be people kind of don't necessarily know, but they want to, they're still not knowing. So then they're looking for ways to kind of figure it out. And in the meanwhile, making some money. But that is also a path that might also eventually unconsciously lead to awakening. But if people underneath you uh, connect with it, is because they also unconsciously are have the same similar egos. So a lot of times people that connect with something is because your egos, you're kind of sitting in the same chair. So it then understanding where you are, suddenly be like, wow, I feel so connected with that person. So a lot of times we connect with people that are doing the same things as ourselves in the ways that our egos are similar. So that's where most people are just looking for friends and teachers and family that are doing kind of the same, so we can kind of play the same game of acceptance. So most people are looking for acceptance, not necessarily awakening, which is, or enlightenment, which is very different per se. Anyway, you should probably close your eyes and sit back like I am sitting back in a chair today. It's nice. We are setting and starting to kind of organize and preparing for the next retreat in this spring of coming together, opening up new retreats and more mature place even here, and with the book coming out and a new place, kind of more maturity in Norway as well. So it's, if you are new here and are interested in this, whether you are in America or Norway, there are retreats being created, and whether you physically appear or on online, it is from a place of maturity and curiosity, and maybe in faith, and that you feel pulled to the space, then you are welcome to participate. And that's where you, that usually a retreat kind of costs something, just like these Wisdom Wednesday. Usually people give a little donation as a kind of giving back. It's like you to connect, whether you do it now or gradually. Everybody's a different place, but close your eyes for now. Let's just take in the energy of today, and close your eyes and drop your shoulders a little bit. This is a body awakening. And drop your hips a little bit more. And yeah, let the breath come in too. Can't hold our breath. And then let your hips, your feet drop down. And just drop your chest a little bit more. And stretch out your toes. Crack your ankles. And let it out. And let the energy come up again. Open your eyes. Let the yawn come in. And relax. Good. We're good for today. Open your eyes up again. Come back around, whether you fall asleep or whether you're watching this now or later. I will talk to some of you guys soon. Others we might DM, or if you have any questions about the next retreat or how that works online or physically in Chicago, let me know. There's a new era combining Norway and America, so that's kind of a new connection. And yeah, thank you for your donations, whatever you're giving or how you are participating. And I will talk to you guys again soon.